where everything is. Maybe your bedroom or your living room, somewhere where you just know. And you think about the information that you need to learn. So let's say I was in elementary school and I needed to learn north, south, east, and west. Well, when you think about the room that you want to use for your mind palace, you could think about different items in your room. Looking from one way to the other, you could pick 4 different items that you would know very well and pair them with north, south, east, and west. And then when I go to take my exam, I would know mentally when I go into the room, looking from one side to the other, that I put north, south, east, and west in order, and I would be able to remember them that way. So the mind palace works because you could even make stuff up with your imagination, and anything that is in your room you'd be able to remember because it's from your imagination or it's from your room and you know where everything is. So when you go to sit down for your exam, you just recall the room and you should be able to recall the information as well. The next type of rhyming technique that I have is mnemonics, and it's when you put a phrase, and you have a phrase, and you put the first letter of each word of that phrase to make up one that you remember. So like north, south, east, and west. When I was in elementary school, they taught us never eat sour watermelon in order to memorize that. And that was always fun and something silly that we would be able to remember. And mnemonics works well when you have things you have to remember and you make them into a silly phrase. A different phrase that I know a lot of people use for the color scheme is Roy G. Biv, and that's red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, and violet. And another technique is rhyming and color schemes. Rhyming is when you could take different types of information that you have and basically have them rhyme together, or put things that you need to know and just have them rhyme so you remember things faster and easier. A spelling rhyme that I've gotten through stuff I've looked up is I before E except after C, or when sounding like A in neighbor and way. And that's one of the examples of rhyming. You can also do the same thing when you're trying to pair it with music, or you can make up your own raps to your favorite songs and music as well, and that will help you recall information because it's your favorite songs. Using colored flashcards also can help your memory because you have associated a color with a term, and when you think about that color or you're reminded of that color, you're able to remember everything that was associated with the color. The most important thing, though, is when you're trying to study right before you sleep. Studying before bed is one of the best things, and it helps your brain learn the fastest and remember the fastest way that it can. When creating a memory, there's 3 steps: acquisition, consolidation, and recalling. Acquisition is when you first get the information into your brain, so when you're first introduced to the information. Consolidation is when the information is coded into your brain, and that's what actually creates the memory. And then recalling is when you're actually able to remember the memory or recall it. And acquisition and recalling actually happens when you're awake. Consolidation happens when you're asleep. So when you're coding the information into your brain, that's happening when you sleep. So studying before bed is right before consolidation happens. So if you study right before bed, you know all the information, it's already in your brain right now. Once you go to bed, consolidation happens directly after. So you know all the information that you just studied is really going to go into your memories. It's not like you're waiting 12 hours when you study in the morning and then a consolidation happens at night. You're studying right before it happens. So that's one of the best things that you can do when you have a big exam. That's why when you're sleep deprived, studying doesn't help as much because consolidation can't happen as well. Well, thank you, and I hope that this helped anybody with studying techniques. I know it helped me in new ways that I could study for myself. So, thank you.